The terrifying truth. Aliens discover humanity was engineered for war. The stars shined bright against the darkness of space as the Earth-ship Horizon approached the massive space station. Commander Alec Russell stood tall on the bridge, watching the alien structure grow larger through the main window. This was a big day for all humans. For the first time, people from Earth would meet the 12 alien races of the Galactic Council. 5 minutes until docking, Commander, said Officer Ryan Clark from his seat at the controls. Thank you, Ryan, Russell replied. He turned to face his team of 6 people chosen to represent Earth. Remember why we're here. To learn, to share, and to make friends. These aliens have been in space for thousands of years longer than us. Dr. Eleanor Grant nodded. As the team's expert on alien life, she had spent years studying reports about these beings. I still can't believe we're actually going to meet them, she said. The ship connected to the space station with a soft bump. Air filled the tunnel between the ship and station. When the doors opened, Russell took a deep breath and led his team forward. 3 aliens waited for them. The one in the middle stood about 7 feet tall with blue skin that seemed to glow slightly. It had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head with large eyes, but no visible nose. Welcome to Unity Station, the blue alien said in perfect English. I am High Counselor Vexnar. We are pleased to finally meet humans face to face. Russell stepped forward. Thank you for inviting us. I am Commander Alec Russell of Earth. We come with hopes of friendship and joining your galactic community. The first few days went well. The aliens showed the humans around the station. They had special rooms ready for the humans to sleep in. The food they offered was made to be safe for humans to eat. Everything seemed perfect. On the 4th day, Dr. Grant noticed something strange. They keep asking to scan our bodies and brains, she told Russell in private. More than seems normal for health checks. Russell had noticed too. And have you seen how they watch us during the tests? Like they're looking for something specific. That night, Russell couldn't sleep. He decided to walk around their area of the station. As he passed the room where their medical tests were done, he heard voices. He stopped to listen. The results confirm our fears, said a voice he recognized as Zeth Tal, one of the alien scientists. Their aggressive responses are off the charts compared to any known species. Could it be natural evolution? Asked another voice. Impossible. The pattern is too specific. Someone designed them this way. Russell's heart beat faster. Designed? What were they talking about? The council must be informed immediately, Zeth Tal continued. If humans are what we suspect, they cannot be allowed to spread throughout the galaxy. Russell backed away quietly and hurried to find Dr. Grant. He found her in the small lab they had been given to use. Eleanor, I need you to do something, he whispered after telling her what he heard. Can you access their computer system, see what they know about us? She looked surprised but nodded. I've already found a way in. Their security isn't designed to keep humans out. Give me an hour. Russell went back to check on the rest of his team. Officer Susan Martinez was on watch while the others slept. Everything okay, Commander? She asked. You look worried. Just being careful, he said. Wake everyone up quietly, tell them to pack their things, we might need to leave quickly. An hour later, he returned to the lab. Dr. Grant's face was pale. Alec, you need to see this, she said, pointing to her screen. They've been watching Earth for hundreds of years, studying our wars, our weapons, how quickly we develop new technology. Russell looked at the files. There were videos of human battles throughout history, from ancient times to modern conflicts. There's more, Eleanor said. Look at these genetic studies they've done. They think human DNA has been artificially modified. They believe we were engineered by someone. Engineered for what? Russell asked. For war, she whispered. They think we were designed to be perfect soldiers. A loud alarm suddenly rang throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the hallway. Security alert, said a computerized voice. Unauthorized data access in Section 4. They've detected me in their system, Eleanor said. She quickly copied files to a small device and handed it to Russell. "Take this. It's everything I found." They ran back to their quarters. The rest of the team was ready, looking scared and confused. "What's happening?" asked Dr. William Kelly, the team's cultural expert. Before Russell could answer, the door slid open. 5 alien security guards entered, followed by High Counselor Vexnar. His friendly manner was gone. "Commander Russell," he said coldly, "your actions are disappointing but not surprising. Your kind always resorts to spying and stealing. You've been lying to us from the start," Russell replied. "This wasn't a friendly meeting, it was an inspection." Vexanar's large eyes narrowed. "A necessary precaution. Your species develops too quickly. Your technology advances at an unnatural rate, especially your weapons, and now we know why." Officer Clark spoke up. "What are you talking about?" "Your species did not evolve naturally," Vexnar said. "You were created, engineered by the predecessors, the most warlike species the galaxy has ever known. They disappeared 10,000 years ago, but apparently they left behind a weapon for the future. You." The humans looked at each other in shock. Russell stepped forward. "That's ridiculous. We evolved on Earth just like any other species." "Did you?" Vexnar asked. "Then explain why your genetic code contains sequences that cannot possibly occur in nature. Why your brain structure allows you to adapt to warfare more quickly than any known species. Why your entire history is filled with constant conflict and weapon development." Just then, a voice came through Russell's communication device. "Commander, this is the Horizon. We've received an emergency message from Earth. All diplomatic teams are being called home immediately. Something's happening." Vexnar signaled, and his guards raised their weapons. "I'm afraid we cannot allow you to leave, Commander. The Council must decide what to do about the human problem." Russell looked at his team, then back at the aliens. "We came here in peace," he said quietly. "But if what you say is true, if we really were made for war, then trying to keep us here might be the biggest mistake you could make." For the first time, he saw fear in the aliens' eyes. The terrifying truth. Aliens discover humanity was engineered for war. The Horizon sped through space, leaving the alien station behind. Commander Alec Russell sat in the ship's meeting room with his team. Everyone looked tired and worried. On the table between them sat the small device with the stolen alien files. "I can't believe we got out of there," said Officer Ryan Clark. He had piloted their escape after a tense standoff with the alien guards. "They let us go," Russell said. "Vexnar could have stopped us, but he didn't. I think he wanted us to take this information back to Earth." Dr. Eleanor Grant connected the device to the ship's computer. "Let's see exactly what we're dealing with." The screen lit up with strange symbols that quickly changed to English. Files appeared showing human history, but not the way they had learned it. The aliens had been watching Earth for thousands of years, recording wars and conflicts. "Look at this," Eleanor pointed to a section about human DNA. "They've studied our genetic code in detail. They think certain parts of it were added by design." "Added by who?" asked Susan Martinez. "A species called the predecessors," Eleanor explained. "According to these files, they were an advanced race that ruled the galaxy about 10,000 years ago. They were extremely aggressive and used war to control everything." William Kelly, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "So these predecessors supposedly made us as weapons? That's hard to believe." "The Council believes it," Russell said, "and they're scared of what it means." Eleanor found more files. The predecessors disappeared suddenly. Nobody knows why, but the Council thinks they might have created humans as a backup plan, a species that could continue their legacy of war. The ship's communication system beeped. "Commander, we're receiving a message from Earth," said the ship's pilot. "Director Samantha Walsh wants to speak with you immediately." The screen changed to show a stern-faced woman with short gray hair. "Commander Russell, I hear you've had an interesting diplomatic mission," she said. "Director, the aliens have been studying us for centuries," Russell said. "They believe humans were engineered by an ancient species." "We know," Walsh replied calmly. That's why Operation Aegis was activated. Return to Earth immediately. We have a lot to discuss. 3 days later, the Horizon landed at a secret base hidden in the mountains. Director Walsh met them personally and led them to an underground facility. Welcome to Aegis Base, she said as they entered a large room filled with advanced technology. For 50 years, we've been intercepting alien communications and preparing for this day. Russell looked around in shock. You knew about the aliens all this time? Walsh nodded. A small group within the government has known since the first radio signals were detected coming from the Council's direction. We've been monitoring them ever since. Why keep it secret? Eleanor asked. Because of what we discovered, Walsh said. She led them to another room where a man waited for them. This is Dr. Gregory Harris, our leading expert on human combat psychology. Harris stood up. He was a tall man with kind eyes that seemed out of place in this secret military base. For 20 years, I've been studying how humans react to combat situations, he said. The results are not normal. He showed them charts and graphs on a large screen. Humans adapt to warfare faster than should be possible. We learn from combat experiences and improve our tactics at rates that defy evolutionary logic. And it's not just our minds, Walsh added. Our bodies heal from injuries faster during crisis situations. Our reflexes sharpen when under threat. Even our ability to bond quickly with teammates in dangerous situations is unusual. Eleanor looked at the data. It matches what the aliens found. But this doesn't prove we were engineered. This might, Harris said. He pressed a button, and the screen showed images of ancient ruins. These were found in remote locations around the world. All of them date back to before human civilization began. All show the same symbols we've now identified as predecessor writing. There's more, Walsh said. 3 months ago, a research team in Siberia found something buried deep in the ice, something that shouldn't exist. The screen changed to show a massive metal structure being excavated from ice. This is a facility that predates human civilization by thousands of years, Walsh explained. The technology inside matches what we now know about predecessor design. What was it used for? Russell asked, though he feared he already knew the answer. Genetic engineering, Walsh said quietly. We found evidence of early human remains that had been modified. The facility appears to be a laboratory where the predecessors experimented with human DNA. The room fell silent as everyone took in this information. So it's true, Russell finally said. We were made for war. Not exactly, said a new voice. A woman entered the room carrying a tablet. Dr. Olivia Chen, head of the Siberia excavation team. What we found suggests something more complex. She showed them images from inside the ancient facility. The predecessors didn't just enhance our aggressive tendencies. They gave us creativity, adaptability, and something they called protective instinct. Yes, we're good at fighting, but the records suggest we were designed to be protectors, not just killers. Protectors of what? Martinez asked. Before Chen could answer, an alarm sounded throughout the base. An officer rushed into the room. Director, we've detected multiple ships entering Earth orbit, he reported. They match Council designs, but are heavily armed. They're demanding we turn over all predecessor technology immediately. They're afraid, Russell realized. They think we're going to become the new predecessors. What do we do? Eleanor asked. Walsh looked at each of them. We do what humans do best. We adapt. We prepare. And if necessary, we fight. She turned to Russell. Commander, I need you to lead a team back to the Siberian facility. Dr. Chen believes there's something there the Council doesn't know about. Something that might explain why we were really created. And if the Council attacks? Russell asked. Then we'll find out if they were right to fear us, Walsh replied. But first, we need the truth. The whole truth. As Russell gathered his team, for the new mission he couldn't help wondering what they would find. Were humans really engineered to be the galaxy's greatest warriors? And if so, what war had they been made to fight? The terrifying truth. Aliens discover humanity was engineered for war. The helicopter flew low over the frozen Siberian landscape. Inside, Commander Alec Russell and his team prepared for landing. Dr. Olivia Chen pointed to a group of white buildings. Below that looked like they were growing out of the ice. "That's our base camp," she said. "The predecessor facility is underneath, buried in the ice for thousands of years." The helicopter landed, and cold air hit them as they stepped out. Workers in heavy coats moved around the camp carrying equipment and samples. "This way." Chen led them to the largest building. Inside, screens showed maps of tunnels and rooms deep under the ice. "We've explored about 60% of the facility so far. It's massive." "What have you found?" Russell asked. "It's easier to show you," Chen replied. She took them to an elevator built into the ice. "We're going down about 300 feet. The elevator descended into darkness. When the doors opened, Russell saw a corridor made of strange metal that seemed to glow slightly. The walls were covered with symbols like those he had seen in the alien files. "Predecessor writing," Eleanor Grant said, touching one of the symbols. "Can you read any of it?" "Some," Chen answered. "Dr. Mason Ford is our language expert. He's waiting for us in the main chamber." They walked through the corridor until it opened into a massive room. In the center stood a tall metal column with glowing lines running through it. Around the edges of the room were what looked like sleeping pods, each big enough to hold a person. A thin man with glasses approached them. "Dr. Ford," Chen introduced him. "He's been studying the predecessor language for months." "It's incredible," Ford said, his eyes bright with excitement. "This facility is over 12,000 years old, but the technology still works. It was designed to last." "What was it used for?" Russell asked, looking at the sleeping pods. Ford's excitement faded. "It was a laboratory. The predecessors were conducting experiments on early humans, changing them, making them better, in their view." "Show them the records," Chen said quietly. Ford led them to a smaller room filled with strange devices. He touched one, and a holographic image appeared in the air. It showed human-like figures, but their bodies were being modified with mechanical parts. "The earliest experiments were crude," Ford explained. "The predecessors were trying to make humans stronger, faster, more aggressive. But those subjects died quickly." He changed the image. Now it showed a DNA strand with certain sections highlighted. They switched to genetic modification, more subtle. Changes that would be passed down through generations. They were building a new species step by step over thousands of years. "Why?" Eleanor asked. "Why go to all this trouble?" "We think we know," Chen said. She nodded to Ford, who touched another device. A new hologram appeared. It showed a star map of the galaxy. Certain areas were marked in red. "This is a map of what the predecessors called the coming darkness. According to the records, they were fighting a war against something they feared would destroy all life. They were losing." "What were they fighting?" Russell asked. "We don't know exactly," Ford admitted. "The records call it the Void, a force that consumes civilizations. The predecessors believed it would return in cycles, every few thousand years. And they created us to fight it?" Eleanor asked. "Not just to fight," Chen said. "To survive and protect. The predecessors were highly advanced, but they had evolved to be too specialized. When this threat appeared, they couldn't adapt quickly enough. So they made us adaptable," Russell realized. "Good at surviving, at fighting in different conditions, and at protecting what we care about," Chen added. "That's the part the Council doesn't understand. Yes, humans are engineered for war, but not for conquest. We're designed to be guardians." Just then, Officer Ryan Clark rushed into the room. "Commander, we've got company. A small alien ship just landed outside the base. There's only one passenger, and he's asking for Dr. Grant by name." "Me?" Eleanor looked surprised. "Who is it?" "He says his name is Keir Voss. Claims he's a scientist from the Council who wants to help us." Russell frowned. "Could be a trap. The Council ships are still in orbit. This could be their way of finding out what we've discovered." "Let me talk to him," Eleanor suggested. "I'll be careful." 20 minutes later, they brought the alien into the base. Kirvos was tall and thin, with pale green skin and forearms. He looked nervous, his eyes darting around the room. "Thank you for seeing me," he said to Eleanor. "I took a great risk coming here. The council doesn't know I left." "Why did you come?" she asked. "Because they're wrong about humans," he replied. "I've studied your species for years. Yes, you were engineered by the predecessors, but the council doesn't understand the whole truth." "Which is?" Russell pressed. "The predecessors didn't just disappear," Kirvos said. "They were destroyed. By the same enemy they created you to fight." The alien pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. A hologram appeared, showing a dark mass moving through space, consuming everything in its path. "This is the void," Kirvos explained. "Not a species, but something else. The predecessors believed it was a consciousness that exists in dark matter, feeding on the energy of advanced civilizations." "That's what the facility records show," Chen confirmed. "The coming darkness." "The council knows this," Kirvos continued, "but they believe the threat is gone forever. I don't. The patterns match what the predecessors predicted, cycles of return every few thousand years. And they think we're the threat," Russell said, "when we're actually the defense they might need." Kirvos nodded. "The council fears you because you were made by their ancient enemies. They don't realize the predecessors created you to be what they could not, adaptable protectors for all life in the galaxy." "Will they listen to reason?" Eleanor asked. "No," the alien said sadly. "They've already decided. Either humans accept genetic modification to remove your aggressive tendencies, or they will contain your species by force." "They don't understand," Ford said. "Without those traits, we can't fulfill our purpose. We won't be able to fight what's coming." "That's why I'm here," Kirvos said, "to help you find proof that will convince the council. The predecessors must have left more than just this facility, something that shows the true threat." Chen and Ford exchanged a look. "There is something," Chen said slowly. "We found coordinates in the facility records. They point to a location on Mars. We think it's another predecessor outpost." "Then that's where we need to go," Russell decided. "If there's evidence there that can prove the threat is real, maybe we can convince the council we're not their enemy." As they started planning their mission to Mars, Russell wondered if they were already too late. The council ships were still orbiting Earth, weapons ready. Humanity's first contact with alien life was on the edge of becoming humanity's first interstellar war. The terrifying truth. Aliens discover humanity was engineered for war. The spaceship Defender moved silently through the darkness toward Mars. Commander Alec Russell stood on the bridge, watching the red planet grow larger in the view screen. His team had been joined by Kirvos, the alien scientist who had chosen to help humans against his own people's wishes. "How much longer?" Russell asked the pilot. 2 hours until we reach Mars orbit," she replied. "The council ships haven't noticed us yet." After the alien had revealed what he knew about the void, Director Walsh had immediately approved the mission to Mars. While the main Earth fleet prepared to defend against the council ships, Russell's smaller, faster ship had slipped away to find the hidden predecessor outpost. Dr. Eleanor Grant and Dr. Olivia Chen entered the bridge. They had been studying the coordinates found in the Siberian facility. "We've pinpointed the exact location," Chen said, showing Russell a map of Mars. "It's inside Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system." "A good hiding place," Russell nodded. "What can we expect to find there? If it's like the Earth facility, it will be some kind of research station," Chen answered. "But the record suggested this one was different. They called it a message point." Kirvos joined them, his green skin looking pale under the ship's husk. In predecessor terminology, a message point was a place to leave information for future generations, he explained. If they left something there, it was meant to be found when the time was right. "And you think that time is now?" Russell asked. "The cycle matches," the alien replied. "According to the records, the void appears every 12,000 years, It's been almost that long since the predecessors disappeared. The communications officer suddenly called out, "Commander, emergency message from Earth." The screen changed to show Director Walsh's face. She looked tense. "Russell, the situation has escalated. The Council has issued an ultimatum. They're giving us 48 hours to surrender all predecessor technology and agree to their genetic modification program." "Or?" Russell asked, though he already knew the answer. "Or they'll begin what they call containment procedures," Walsh said grimly. "They'll destroy our defenses, our communications, anything that might let us leave Earth. Can we hold them off?" "Admiral Pearson has activated our defense network. It's more advanced than the Council knows. We've been reverse engineering alien tech for decades. But we can't hold forever. We need what you're looking for on Mars." "We'll find it," Russell promised. "Just buy us some time." 2 hours later, the Defender landed on the surface of Mars near the base of Olympus Mons. Russell led a team wearing special suits that protected them from the thin, cold Martian atmosphere. "The entrance should be about half a mile ahead," Chen said, checking her scanner. "Hidden under the surface." They walked across the red dust until Chen's scanner beeped loudly. "It's here," she said, pointing to what looked like an ordinary rock formation. Kirvos examined the rocks closely. "These aren't natural," he said. "They're disguised." He pressed certain spots in a specific pattern, and suddenly the ground began to shake. The rock formation split open, revealing a dark entrance leading down. "Just like on Earth," Eleanor said. "They built it to last for thousands of years." They turned on their lights and descended into the darkness. The tunnel led deep into the mountain until they reached a large metal door covered with predecessor symbols. Dr. Mason Ford, who had come with them from Earth, studied the symbols. "It's a warning," he said, "and instructions. It says we need to prove we are the chosen guardians to enter." "How do we do that?" Russell asked. Ford continued reading. "It says, place your hand upon the circle and show the gift we gave you." In the center of the door was a large circular panel. Russell reached out and placed his hand on it. Nothing happened. "Maybe it needs to read your DNA," Eleanor suggested. "The traits the predecessors engineered into humans." Russell removed his glove and placed his bare hand on the panel. This time it began to glow. The door slowly opened with a deep rumbling sound. Beyond the door was a circular chamber. In the center stood a crystal pillar that reached from floor to ceiling, glowing with a soft blue light. "This is it," Kirvos whispered in awe. "A predecessor message crystal. I've only read about these." Russell approached the crystal. As he got closer, the blue light grew stronger. Suddenly, the light shot out from the crystal, forming a three-dimensional image in the air. It showed a being that looked somewhat like Kirvos but larger, with 6 arms instead of 4. "A predecessor," the alien scientist said. "One of the last by the look of the markings." The image began to speak in a strange language that somehow changed to English as they listened. "To those who find this message, we hope you are the guardians we created. If you can open this door, you carry our gift in your DNA. You are our answer to the darkness that consumed us." The image changed to show the galaxy. Dark patches began spreading across it like ink in water. The void comes in cycles, feeding on the energy of advanced civilizations. It is not a species, but a consciousness that exists in dark matter. We've fought it for centuries, but we were too specialized, too rigid in our thinking. We could not adapt quickly enough to its changing tactics. The image changed again, showing early humans. The predecessor continued speaking. "We found a young species on the 3rd planet of a yellow star. They had potential, strong bodies, curious minds, and most importantly, the ability to adapt. We enhanced these traits, adding what was best in ourselves while keeping what was special about them. Now, the image showed human DNA with certain sections highlighted. We gave them our intelligence, our strength, our longevity, but we also gave them something we had lost: fierce protection of their own kind, creativity under pressure, and the ability to change their tactics when faced with new threats. These are the weapons needed against the void." The predecessors. Image returned, looking directly at them. "If you are reading this, then the time has come. The void will return soon. The galaxy needs its guardians now. You were not made for conquest, but for protection. This was always your purpose. The image changed one last time, showing a star map with a point of darkness growing at the edge of the galaxy. It begins here, the predecessor said. The first. Signs will appear at these coordinates. Prepare yourselves, Guardians. The greatest war in the history of the galaxy is about to begin. The message ended and the crystal's light dimmed. Everyone stood in silence for a moment. We need to get this back to Earth, Russell finally said. The Council needs to see it. Will they believe it? Eleanor asked. They have to, Kirvos replied. Because according to those coordinates, the void has already returned. It's at the edge of the galaxy now, just as the predecessors predicted. As they prepared to leave with the crystal, Russell's communicator beeped. It was Officer Ryan Clark, from the ship. Commander, we have a problem, he said urgently. Council ships have entered Mars orbit. They've found us. The terrifying truth. Aliens discover humanity was engineered for war. We need to get back to the ship now, Commander Alec Russell said, carefully taking the crystal from its pedestal. The message from the ancient predecessors was too important to lose. It proved humans were created for a purpose, to fight a threat that could destroy the whole galaxy. There are 3 council ships above us, Officer Ryan Clark reported through the communicator. They're demanding we surrender. Kirvos looked worried. The council won't listen to reason once they have us. They'll destroy the crystal and any evidence of the void. Then we don't surrender, Russell decided. Dr. Chen, is there another way out of this facility? Dr. Olivia Chen checked her scanner. There's a network of tunnels leading to different parts of the mountain. One of them might get us far enough away to reach the ship without being seen. They hurried through the dark tunnels following Chen's directions. The crystal glowed softly in Russell's hands, lighting their way. After 20 minutes of walking, they reached an exit that opened onto the red Martian landscape about a mile from where they had entered. The ship is just over that ridge, Russell said, pointing. If we stay low, we might make it. They moved carefully across the rocky surface. When they reached the top of the ridge, they could see their ship below, and the 3 larger council vessels hovering nearby, shining bright lights on the area. They've surrounded the Defender, Eleanor said. We'll never reach it unseen. Just then, Russell's communicator beeped. Commander Russell, said a familiar voice. This is High Counselor Vexnar. We know you're out there. Surrender now, and we promise no harm will come to your crew. Russell didn't respond. Instead, he turned to Kirvos. Is there any way to contact Earth from here? To send them what we've found? The alien shook his head. The Council will be blocking all signals. Our only hope is to reach your ship and break through their blockade. Russell thought for a moment. We need a distraction. He looked at the crystal in his hands, then up at the council ships. And I think I know how to create one. He explained his plan quickly. Eleanor and Chen would circle around to approach the ship from the other side. Meanwhile, Russell, Ford, and Kirvos would activate the crystal in the open, knowing its energy signature would draw the council's attention. The message showed that the crystal contains predecessor technology, Russell said. If it's powerful, enough to last thousands of years, it might be powerful enough to disrupt the council ship's systems when fully activated. It's risky, Kirvos warned, but it might work. They split up. Russell led his group to a flat area visible to the council. Ships. There he placed the crystal on the ground and looked at Kirvos. How do we fully activate it? The same way you opened the door, the alien replied. It responds to the predecessor genes in your DNA. Russell removed his glove and placed his hand on the crystal. This time he pressed firmly, willing it to activate. The crystal began to glow brighter and brighter until it was shining like a small blue sun on the Martian surface. Above them, the council ships reacted immediately. 2 of them turned toward the light, leaving only one guarding the Defender. Russell smiled grimly. The distraction was working. Suddenly, the crystal pulsed with energy. A wave of blue light shot outward in all directions. The council ships shuddered. As the energy hit them, their lights flickering. Now! Russell shouted into his communicator. On the other side, Eleanor and Chen raced toward the Defender. The remaining Council ship, its systems temporarily disrupted, couldn't react in time. They made it to the ship and opened the hatch. "Start the engines," Eleanor called to the pilot as they boarded. The Defender's engines roared to life. Russell and his group ran toward it, carrying the still glowing crystal. The Council ships were beginning to recover, their weapon systems coming back online. "Hurry!" Chen shouted from the hatch. They made it inside just as the first Council ship fired. The shot missed by inches as the Defender lifted off the Martian surface. "Get us out of here," Russell ordered the pilot. The ship accelerated away. From Mars, the Council vessels in pursuit. "They're faster than us," the pilot warned. "We can't outrun them." "We don't need to," Russell said. "We just need to get a message to Earth." He turned to the communications officer. "Send everything we found to Director Walsh. The message from the predecessors, the coordinates of the void, all of it." As the officer worked, the first shots from the Council ships struck the Defender. The ship shook violently. "Shields at 60%, reported Clark. "We can't take much more." Just then, the communications panel lit up. "Commander Russell," said Director Walsh's voice. "We've received your data. The Council needs to see this. We're sending it to their fleet commander now." "Will they listen?" Russell asked. "They might not have a choice," Walsh replied. "Our long-range sensors just confirmed activity at the coordinates from the predecessor message. Something is happening at the edge of the galaxy, exactly where they predicted." Another hit rocked the ship. The Council vessels were closing in, weapons charging for a final attack. Then suddenly they stopped firing. The communications panel beeped again. This time, it was Vexnar. "Commander Russell," the High Counselor said, his voice different than before. "We have received your data and verified it against our own deep space readings. It appears we have made a grave error." "The void is real," Russell said. "Just as the predecessors warned, humans were created to fight it, not to threaten you." "So, it seems," Vexnar admitted. "Our sensors now confirm unusual dark matter activity at the coordinates. We require your assistance, Commander." 3 weeks later, Russell stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned battleship Defender Prime. Around his ship flew vessels from Earth and the 12 Council races, now united against a common enemy. "Fleet status?" he asked. "All ships report." "Ready, Commander," replied Eleanor, now his second in command. On the main screen, he could see the dark mass at the edge of the galaxy. The void was growing, consuming stars as it moved. Just as the predecessors had predicted thousands of years, Hugo High Counselor Vexnar's ship moved alongside the Defender Prime. "The Council has officially recognized humanity's status as guardians," he said over the communication channel. "We were wrong to fear you. Now we need the very traits we once condemned." Russell nodded. The Galactic Council had learned that humans weren't just engineered for war. They were engineered to protect all life in the galaxy. What the aliens had feared as dangerous aggression was actually fierce determination to defend what mattered. "All ships, prepare to move out," Russell ordered. "We're the first line of defense between the void and the populated worlds." As the combined fleet moved forward to face the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known, Russell realized that humanity had finally found its true purpose. They were warriors, yes, but warriors with a cause greater than themselves. "The predecessors chose well," Kirvos said, standing beside him on the bridge. "They knew what the galaxy would need when this day came." Russell watched as the fleet formation took shape around them, Council technology combined with human tactical innovation. The void was powerful, but it had never faced anything like this alliance before. "Let's show them what we were made for," Russell said, and gave the order to advance.